Book World, The Great Escape. I'm author CJ Peterson. My co-host over here is author Michael Scott Clifton. Today we have a special guest. She's among some of my favorite authors. It's author Kelly Lynn Colby. We're going to be talking paranormal thrillers. She writes one of my favorite series down there. She wants to hold it up. She's more than welcome to. It's a really cool series when we're talking about that, among a couple of her other series. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yay. She's one of my friends. She has my kind of energy, which like really loves when I have people with my kind of energy on.
You don't have to drag things out of me. You have to stop me from talking.
Oh, I don't. So welcome, Kelly. Super excited to have you on today. So for those who don't know, explain what paranormal thriller is.
Well, paranormal thriller is kind of the answer to trying to discern what we write from urban fantasy, because paranormal thriller is usually on Earth. Mm-hmm. It usually takes place in a city, but there also are usually not like werewolves and vampires and, those kind of things, which are really an urban fantasy. Usually paranormal goes a different way. Like they will have angels and demons, or it will be like, in my case, psychic abilities, but there are only humans in my book. So there's no werewolves, no vampires, no extraterrestrial anything, no angels, demons, nothing. It's just human powers. And so because of that, it needed to be separated, because if you call it urban fantasy, then people are like, oh, where's the werewolves, right? So it's all really about marketing and making sure the reader knows what they're getting. So in this case, the paranormal thriller feels like the urban fantasy. There's always a mystery to be solved. You have a great cast of people involved with, in my case, different powers, different abilities, and mostly just humans, as in ones without abilities, just trying to navigate this world. And so that is usually, they're also very fast paced. So that if there's something you want to get into, it's one of those you don't put down till you're done kind of thing. So that's really the paranormal thriller MO.
Mombi's with us today. Hey, Mombi. So let's start with my favorite series of yours. I'm going to bring that one up. I loved it, and no, I could not put it down. So to explain what it is, we'll start with The Collector. What exactly is that series about?
This series is called The Emergence, and as it gets done through book 5, you will see why. And it is about Fauna Young, who is an empath, and so she can read emotions from people and memories left on objects. She thinks she's the only one in the world who can do this until she finds a piece of art. And on that piece of art is a different memory from a different person. She's like, this can't be a coincidence. Someone else has to be like me. They had to have put this together. I'm going to go meet this artist. I'm not alone, finally. So she goes to meet him, and he's been murdered. And now she has to solve his murder, or she could be next.
But she kind of runs into a little bit of a glitch, doesn't she?
She does. She definitely does. And so through this series, right now, there are 3 books out: The Collector, The Healer, and The Twins. And as I hinted at, this is a 5-book series, so there are 2 to go. And in each book, there's a different murder mystery for her to solve, but also her powers keep expanding, and she doesn't know why.
It's really cool. And like I said, it's one of those you really don't want to put down. If you get scared easily, don't read it at night. I will tell you that.
There is a creepy factor.
There's a little bit of a creepy factor, but it's really good. I will say that, like I said, it's one of my favorite series of yours, and I love it. You also have another series that's out there. Would you like to tell them about that one?
I do. I did not grab that one down, but that one is a YA fantasy duology. That one is really good for younger readers, and it is safe in quotes for younger readers, content wise, I should say. Emotionally, it's not safe for anyone, but it is, it's just a very typical YA fantasy. It is a quest where a set of royal twins go on a quest to decide who is the true heir, but true heir doesn't mean what they think it does. So it is a world devoid of magic, except it's not devoid of it. It's just sleeping. So as they go on their adventure, it actually wakes up. And then each of the twins, they have to decide, Talia and Tannen, they have to decide what kind of ruler they want to be. And that's how they decide really who should be ruling. It's very interesting. It's very fun. I had a great old time with it.
Well, there's 2 books in that series?
There are 2 books in that series. Yep. And that one is complete. Wow. But it's great for younger readers. Highly recommend.
Very cool. Now you're also in an anthology series.
Yes, I'm in quite a few anthologies, but with our company, we are with the my gosh, I don't remember what the anthology series is called. Oh, Legion of Dorks Presents. I forgot. Because um it's for charity, so I couldn't remember what it is. So Legion of Dorks is a group that I am involved with, and every December they do a charity for Toys for Tots. And
Okay.
we were like, "Oh, we can help. Let's do an anthology." So we put together the anthologies. So all the profit after the cost of the book goes straight to Toys for Tots.
Oh,
So
nice.
I do have a story in all of those books, I think except the last one because I got very busy and didn't have time to write one. So I do have stories in that, but I have stories in quite a few anthologies spread out across the universe. All shop.
Does Dragon Ship have a book anthology going on?
We don't.
I thought that you guys did one with is that the one you were just talking about?
I mean, they're short story anthologies.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what all of those are. They're short story anthologies.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So could you tell us a little bit about Cursed Dragon Ship and where it got its name and how it got started?
Cursed Dragon Ship will be 7 years old this July.
Oh, happy
So we're just keeping chugging along, man. We are a small press located here in Houston, Texas. We publish fantasy, sci-fi, and horror, and all of the micro genres within those larger realms. It is my favorite thing to read, hence it is what I decided to publish because not only do I like writing it, but I also understand the reader because I am the reader. So that is what we chose to publish for that. We also have SG George as our acquisitions editor, and my husband, Kevin Colby, runs all of our tech stuff. But we have a great time with Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing, and that's where the name came from. It took us a long time. And when we first came up with the name, because Cursed for horror, Dragon for fantasy, and Ship for spaceship for sci-fi. When we first came up with the name, we're like, that's a horrible name. So we kept thinking about more names. Then we went back to Cursed Dragon Ship. And then we kept thinking about more names, and then went back to Cursed Dragon Ship. I'm like, well, I guess it's just Cursed Dragon Ship. And that's what we stuck with.
Very cool. So how many authors do you guys have?
We have 14 signed authors right now.
Nice.
And we have 38 books published.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Awesome.
So what's
7
next
years.
besides
7 years.
7 years. Yep.
So what's next for you besides the next in that series for do you have any other series coming out?
I mean, I do with the company, but not with me. So with me, I just have the last two in this book need to come out. The fourth book will come out at the end of the year, and then book 5 will come out next year. I wish I could write faster, but I cannot. Just like many of the authors out there, I write in my spare time because my full-time job is the publishing company, right? So that's what I do full-time, and then I write when I can.
Okay.
So I can't write as fast as I would like to.
I hear that.
Uh,
Do you have any other ideas kind of marinating in there for your next?
Always. I have a second world fantasy that I've already done some world building for. Procrastination. I can say, look, I'm working, even though I'm not writing what I'm supposed to, but I am working because I'm making this new series. But my next one I will go back to my first love, which is second world, high fantasy. That is my love. So that's what I will go back to.
Very cool.
I'm sure you've been asked this.
Mombi says, love that you contribute to Toys for Tots. Great charity.
I'm sure you've been asked this before, but where do you take your inspiration for your stories?
Everywhere. So I travel a lot and I meet as many people as I possibly can. And considering that I'm actually an introvert, I know it's hard to tell because I'm pretty obnoxious. But I'm not shy, but I'm an introvert. So I actually force myself to go out and meet people and shake hands and talk to them and get their stories and do all of those things that we do. Go to conventions just like you guys do, right? I love conventions and go to all of these things to meet people and sit down. We're at the bar with people. We went on a cruise, Wave Riders cruise, highly recommend, by the way. I was the guest editor for Wave Riders, and it was fantastic. This was their first year. Loved it. So even waiting in the hotel before we got on the cruise, there were just people at the bar, and we were just talking to them. So, things like that, just getting inspiration from that. And then travel will give you so much to pull from. And if you don't have a lot of money, I haven't been to Europe since I was 16, right? I don't have a lot of money either. But just, take your car and drive 3 hours east, take your car, drive 3 hours west, right? Just go and see other things. And you can get so much inspiration from that. And I read about 10 to 14 books a month that are not for my company. That is like my whole world is fiction. I just love it. And
I'm
so
sorry.
by reading all these books, that also sparks more ideas.
I'm sorry. When do you have time to read 10 to 14 books a month?
I don't do
Yeah.
anything else. Notice I was reading. I don't know if you saw I was reading before you let me in. So like all of my spare time, I read.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
yeah, it's kind of how I self-medicated ADHD my whole life. It's true because I can't sit still. I'm always late. I'm always right. So what I do is I have trained myself to go early, usually stupid early. I've been sitting here for half an hour before I had to log in. And I
Okay.
just read until then. And I set an alarm because I won't remember. Even reading, I'll forget. I'll blow past the time. And then I'm just sitting there reading and then I just wait. And so that it's just self-medicating and so much fun.
Yeah.
So I just have a ball, but that's what I do. I do reading sprints on BookTube. So if you go to YouTube, look at our channel, go to @CursedDragonship, and you will find sprints that we're doing, all kinds of things so that we have the body doubling, which is really good for ADHD. So here's the thing. I don't clean my house very much. Sorry, it's boring. And who do I have coming over? Actually, we'll have parties like, once every 2 months, just so we do clean the house. So I don't have to worry about that every day. So I have that time. And then I also don't do anything else. I don't watch movies. I don't watch TV. I don't have any other hobbies, right? I don't do anything else. I used to cook and bake. I don't even do that anymore. The only thing I do for fun is reading. You ready for the cool part? My blood pressure's gone down since I started doing that.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, my doctor's like, have you done anything different? I'm like, I read more. Now, it was a year ago, right, when I started doing this like hardcore reading. That's all I'm doing. And I was like, no, I haven't changed my exercise. I didn't change my diet. I didn't change anything except I read now instead of doing those other things. And my stress level dropped. And so did my blood pressure.
Good grief.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's, I think it's pretty much common, that for most authors, they were avid readers before they became writers.
Right.
And I think that's pretty much true of pretty much any successful author, but really any author at all. And if they weren't readers before, I've got a question for you, Kelly, that is a burning one that it will be continued long after this podcast, and we've asked other guest authors as well. Generative AI versus assistive AI. Do you, with the advent of AI in writing and the controversy over the use of AI in, on one hand, assisting authors, kind of like, other writing aids used to, Grammarly, Scrivener, that sort of thing, as opposed to the generative AI that basically is doing the writing for the authors themselves. Have you run into this, and what's your opinion of that?
Well, my opinion is we can't fight what's happening because it's going to happen anyways. So what we have chosen to do is to be as human as possible. That's why we go to events. That's why we shake hands. That's why we go talk to indie bookstores. That's why my authors, they're all across the country. They go talk to their local indie bookstores. We do interviews, right? So we are seen here. So you can see, hello, I'm human. No one's gonna AI this. You see this? They would cut the speech way down. Let me tell you. So you can see that we are human, and humans want to interact with humans. So the only way that AI is going to win, as in take over what we are doing, is if we let it. So we just have to stay out there, which I know is so uncomfortable for so many of us because we're introverts. We don't want to be out there. I would be great to never be on screen my whole life, but I want to do this for a living. I want to sell these books. I want people to find them. So in order to do that, you have to be as human as possible. So I kind of just try to stay out of the AI stuff. And I just try to say, look, we're human. We're human. We are making this. We are human. So that's what I do.
So
that's where I am.
You mentioned the cruise earlier.
Yes.
I know we had talked a little bit behind the scenes about it. Can you explain a little bit more about what you did with that?
Yes, highly recommend. Go to wavewriters.com. They already have the schedule up for next year. It is a writer's retreat on the seas. So it's so cool. I went as the guest editor. So if you've never worked with an editor before, this is a great opportunity to do that. And I get sample of your work beforehand. I edit it and send it back to you. And then, so you have time to look at it. And then we talk about it on the cruise. And then I go through the synopsis of your work as well, so that we can actually talk. And then I give talks during it. We hang out at bar cons, we can talk about stuff. So, and then also you have another group of writers to connect with, so that you can have a lot of people, they're having a hard time finding their tribe, right? Finding the people that are also doing what they're trying to do. So by doing things like this retreat, that you can do that. Plus you could bring your family. So you could bring your family with you on the cruise. They can go cruise and leave you the heck alone while you go write. So there were 2 full days of writing at sea, where we even had a whole separate place where we could write that the cruise saved for us specifically. And then there were 2 days where you were able to go to shore, right? So there were excursions and fun stuff you could do. Or if you didn't want to, you could just stay on board and write. So you had many options of what to do. But it's really about, just like I said, right? It's really about connecting to people. And you don't have to clean. You don't have to cook. You don't have to do the dishes. You don't have to do any of that. That is all taken care of while you are there, and you just get to write.
Oh, they even clean your room. I mean, come on.
Yes, even clean your room. Yeah. And then if you're like, I need a break and I'm going to go read a book, you go sit by the pool, or you can sit in the shade over there and write if you want, right? Like whatever you want, you've got the whole thing. So it's really amazing, and I highly recommend it.
Which port is it out of? Galveston?
Out of Galveston. Mm-hmm.
Is it which liners, or which cruise line?
Royal Caribbean. Royal
Caribbean.
Caribbean. It's 5 days. So it's a short one. So you don't have to take a ton off. And it also helps if someone has to travel to Galveston. Right, we're in Houston, so it's not bad for us. But if you have to travel to Galveston, that way you don't have to take off so much work, right? So it's a 5-day cruise with 2 full days of writing and 2 full days of excursions.
Very cool. There are 2 people I wanted to say hi to. Brian popped in here, and so did Sarah. I want to say hi to them as well. So what's next for you and Dragon Ship, A Cursed Dragon Ship? Is there another anthology coming out soon, or?
There is not. We do have part 2s for a couple of our series. 2 of our series. We have 3. 3 of our series book 2s are coming out, and 1 series. So that is Murder on the Interstellar Express. Book 2 is ready. Blind Angels is also sci-fi. So we got 2 really good sci-fis. The book 2 for that one is coming out. We'll have that cover reveal scheduled. The second book in a romantasy, A Malice of Moons and Mages, is coming out. And the 4th and final book of our first romantasy that we have published, Touch of Fate, the 4th book in that and final one is also coming out this year. So we've got a lot of adventures coming out. And we're also going to start doing quick releases. So we're finishing up the series we have, but we do have other series behind the scenes in the works that we are going to quick release. So we'll have a trilogy, and one of them has 4 books, and we will release them 1 every 2 months to get them out to y'all.
Okay, cool. So where do you get your ideas when it comes to writing? Like, for example, the series that I love. Where did you get those ideas? Because that's unique.
Well, this one, the collector I got because I found a piece of art. It was mixed media art, and every little piece of it had it looked like an automaton. And every little piece, like the throat part was an old music box. And one of the arms was like a child's baseball bat. And like every little piece of it was just found from like trash and put together. And I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I couldn't move. It just grabbed me. And because of that, I was like, I don't know. Like my husband was like, oh, it got her. Like, this is not like it's the only time it's ever happened. And so he's like, I'll be back. Right. And he walked around the store and I was like, the thing is, it was like $2,500 and I didn't have $2,500 to spend on a piece of art. So I never bought it. Right. But it was expensive. So it stayed in that store for a long time. And I would go there at least once a month to go see it. I named him Jonathan. I loved him very much, which is why he's called Jonathan in this. And so and I adored him. I kept telling him, you take $200 for it, I'll take it off your hands. Right. And they just would never do it. I'm like, it's sitting here gathering dust. Literally. Look, I need to clean it when I come in here. Come on, give it to me for $200. And they just wouldn't do it. I'm convinced they threw it away too. I am. It's broken my heart for every moment of my life. Because one day it was gone. And they're like, oh yeah, some dude bought it for his man cave. I'm like, yeah. Sure he did.
I don't think so, but okay.
Exactly. I was like, yeah, no. But that's what inspired this. And that actually is where all inspiration comes from, right? It just comes from heaven knows that one thing just hits you. And you're like, wouldn't it be cool if?
The what if questions, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Wow. Who needs coffee? We just need to have have you on the podcast. I'm telling you, you don't need caffeine.
Well, I do writing sprints every morning.
Okay.
So if you need a wake-up call from 8 to 11 Central on Cursed Dragon Ship on the YouTube channel, we do writing sprints. So we come in, we usually talk for about 20 to 30 minutes, saying good morning to everyone, because we have all our regulars that come on. What are y'all doing? Some of them are just reading. Not everyone is writing. And sometimes I'm busy. I have to work. So I'm doing work stuff, right? But it's productivity sprints. And then we do a 30-minute sprint, and we say, how did everyone do? Then 30-minute sprint, how did everyone do, right? So we do this every morning to wake everyone up. And so it's really fun. And it's kind of how we start our day Monday through Friday now.
Wow.
That's the Cursed Dragon Ship YouTube channel?
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So anybody interested in writing sprints, you can head over there.
Mm-hmm. We'll keep you on task, at least time-wise. I can't make you do it, but.
Oh, yeah. No.
I can at least be there and be your coffee.
The sunshine right here.
Most days. There are some days. That's right.
You need coffee? You got Kelly.
So we get asked, I know I do, and I know that CJ is also, and I'm sure you've been asked the same question 100 times or 1,000. What would be the best advice you could give to an aspiring author that is wanting to start out? What piece of advice would you give them to do as they start their writing journey?
Find your tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Find the group of people that are going to help you get to the next level. And just keep going. And if you find the really good ones, you're going to grow with them. Don't be afraid to leave some behind if it's just not working, and go find more, and just keep going. Just keep finding your tribe, keep finding your tribe, keep finding your tribe. Find those people that are going to help you get to that next level.
Wow.
I haven't heard that one yet. That's good.
That is good.
Thank you.
And by tribe, you're talking about people who are maybe like-minded or have the same passion for writing as you.
Correct.
So that you are sort of flow in the same direction, and you support them and they support you.
Exactly. It does no good if you're with someone who's never finishing their book. It's no good if you're, with someone who has just learned how to write and is nowhere near finishing a book, but you're working on book 6, right?
Yeah.
So you need to have the people that are kind of where you are. I call it healthy peer pressure. So you need healthy peer pressure.
But not yes people. You need people who
no.
with you in your work.
Oh, look, I've never been lucky enough to be surrounded by yes people. Just for the record, I'm not sure where they come from. I think you have to have money first, so that's never going to happen to me. So we're good.
Yeah, I thought about that. Yeah, you're right.
That has always stuck with me is that you are the sum of your friends.
True.
So you need to keep that in mind as well. So as much as you are the sum of your friends, you are the sum of your writing friends as well.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that thought in mind.
Yep.
When
Fair.
you're picking your writing friends as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been blessed to have very good writing friends, such as, you, DC, Gomez,
love DC.
Carmen D'Souza. I've had Jackie Smith. We've had those type of friends, Mike. I've been very blessed to have good writing friends around me. And if you could find good writing friends, then you can't help but come out with good work.
And don't be afraid if it doesn't work the first time. I went through 3 critique groups until I actually found the group that worked for me.
Right.
So that's another thing. You're like, well, I tried what you said, Kelly. It totally didn't work. I'm like, well, don't do it once. Did you meet one person and they were your partner for life? I mean, if you did, good for you. But I mean, that's not common, right? Did you, right? You know what I mean? It doesn't happen the first time unless you're lucky. Otherwise, just keep trying. They're out there. I promise you they're out there, especially with the internet. You can find them.
I think you sometimes, but I used to think it was that hard, but I don't think it is anymore now that I've had years doing this.
Yep.
If you're friends, you still have to be honest with a critique partner, but not cruel.
Right.
And
exactly.
I think sometimes, I think shouldn't be a learning curve there, but I think sometimes, when you're trying to be honest with someone, you can couch it in a way that doesn't just rip their heart out. And I would think that would be intuitive, but it isn't always intuitive.
Plus, as an author, you also need to grow a thicker skin.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes both ways, right? You have to separate yourself from your work.
Point,
yeah. Even though you are in your work, you are not your work. You are separate. This
constructive and then there's destructive as far as that. And so you can give constructive with what I call a compliment sandwich, where there's a
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
compliment, complaint, compliment.
Right.
And so you can deliver it. It's in the delivery
Mhm.
and how you deliver it. And then there's destructive, where you just come in like a wrecking ball.
Oh yeah.
And so you got to be careful on
Yeah.
how you deliver that.
That's why when I edit people's work, I also make sure to mark things I like.
Mhm.
Right. You
Yes.
will see like a comment that says, ha,
Yes.
or, oh, you got me. I
Oh,
didn't see that
yes.
coming. Right. Like I do things like that too, because mostly when I'm editing, I'm tearing it all apart.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I'm tearing this apart. I'm not tearing you apart. But especially with the new authors, it takes them a while to really understand
Mhm.
that it is not personal, because I mean, we put our heart and soul in it. It feels personal.
Mhm.
So
That's a good
it's a
point
learning
you
curve.
made, though, about being able to take the critique yourself as well as giving it out.
Yep.
And I know with younger, because I've been in 2 or 3 critique groups over the last 10 or 15 years,
Mhm.
and younger ones that are starting out, they can get their feelings hurt very easily. And the point you made also, which is, I think, also excellent, you have to find areas where you can praise them and say, this is good stuff,
Mhm.
as well as, hey, you need to change this as well. And that was one of the things I had to learn myself the hard way, starting out, both as someone who was taking critique and who was giving it.
Mhm.
And, but that's an excellent point as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love my editor. When she does her editing, it's like she's looking over my shoulder like, didn't we talk about this last time? Or that was really good. I like how you did that. Or no, didn't I slap your hand on that one?
Well, when you get a really good relationship with your editor and you've worked with them for a few years, things change. Like Kevin Petway, he's the first author that I published with the company. And one of the things on one of his books there was a scene, and I just wrote, "You could do better." And he talks about that one a lot.
It's like when you have an editor, and like I have 19 books out. So when you have an editor and you've developed that relationship with them, it's like you don't want another different editor, because you have gelled really well with that editor, and you can do stuff like that. Those first few books, it's kind of like you have to be very kind of like, do I gel with this editor or not?
Mhm.
And once you do, then it's like no other editor can even remotely touch it.
Probably, but it's also healthy to have different voices. It's also healthy to have some different editors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I have a content and a copy editor.
Yeah.
And so she's my content editor.
Mhm.
My copy editor is different, but she's my content editor.
That's
And
good. You
so
should always have two.
yeah. So my content editor is the one that does that. And so, but my copy editor is always different.
I know we're running out of time, but I've got one last quick question for you, Kelly. So as you have done this publishing now for 7 years, do you find with more experienced authors, going back to the, give and take on, hey, or suggestions to do this or do that, that the more experienced authors are, the more resistant they are to suggestions, or do you feel that's just not germane at all?
Not for me, at least not for authors I work with.
Okay.
But we work as a family at Curse Dragon Ship, right? We're small. And so usually when we have a new author that wants to, get published through us, then we usually give an R&R, which is a revise and resubmit. So we will revise the manuscript and then we'll send it to them and see how they respond.
Oh,
So it's kind of like a job
yeah.
interview. So I actually find the more authors are with us, the longer they are with us, the better they react to, because they know what to expect. They know what's going to happen. I have one author that that crosses genres too. So very complicated books, very complicated mysteries, and really huge surprises at the end. But he just discovery writes the whole thing. He doesn't have an outline. So 9 times out of 10, I've done 8 of his books now. 9 times out of 10, I have to tell him to rewrite that first book. It happens every time. But at this point, he's like, I know I'm going to have to rewrite it. Just send me the things. I'm like, if you'd write an outline. He's like, nope. I'm like, okay, well, then this is what we're doing.
Well, Kelly, you're a real treat. Love having you on every time. So those who want to learn more about Kelly and Cursed Dragon Ship, you can head over to curseddragonship.com. That's curseddragonship.com. So make sure to check it out. You can also find her books, I'm assuming, on there as well.
Yes.
You can also see, I'm assuming, where they're appearing on there.
Yes.
Okay, so check it out. Next week, we're going to have Laura Evans, who is the director of Texas Book Lovers Convention, and we'll learn more about that next week at 4:00 p.m. In the meantime, see you guys next week.